This is Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society of BC, brought to you by Sitka Gear. Come along as we bring conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. This episode is sponsored by our conservation partner, Yeti. Thank you, Sitka Gear and Yeti, for investing in healthy wildlife and sustainable ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio. Welcome to Talk is Sheep. We've got a very, very cool guest today. Good friend, incredible hunter, great conservationist, and membership manager for the Wild Sheep Foundation. We've got Maddie Richards on today. Great to see you, Maddie.
Great to see you too, Kyle. I'm really excited to be on. Thanks for having me. I feel like it's been quite some time that we've talked about jumping on here together, and it's finally happening. So really excited to be on. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was reflecting on that. And the one thing that tweaked me really was, like, we've talked about it several times, and like, you're incredibly busy and just like timing. And there's been a few times where I've tried to bring my gear. We could do it in person because that's always the best by far. And then of course, I seen your new podcast series come out. I was like so excited. I'm like, that's the kind of podcast host we need in our space. So really stoked about that, and really glad you're doing it. And so thanks for being on. And so let's do a shout out to the show. Like, talk a little bit about your new podcast series and what's going on with that.
Yeah, you bet. So as a membership manager, I also am the Less Than One Club's manager. So for those of you that don't know what the Less Than One Club is, the Wild Sheep Foundation has a program that is geared towards hunters that have never harvested a wild sheep ram. And so we affectionately say that you want to be kicked out of the Less Than One Club, meaning that you've killed a ram. So I'm in charge of that program, and it's one of my favorite things that we do here at WSF. And one of my favorite things is when I get to officially kick people out of the Less Than One Club. And so wanted to figure out a way to recognize these people that have accomplished this really incredible feat in hunting. And so this idea kind of came to fruition a couple months ago, and we already have our Sheep Fever podcast. So I said, why don't we do something that's geared towards these people that have been kicked out? And we always need more hunting content on our podcast. So I came to Gray and Keith and said, here's my idea. What do you guys think of it? And they said, perfect. You're going to host it. Run with it. And I was like, okay, I have no podcasting experience, but I am super excited. So just started hosting that earlier I guess a couple months ago now, and those have just started to roll out on our feed. So it's been really fun for me so far just to be able to connect with our members in this way. And I love to talk about hunting. So getting paid to talk about hunting and connect with really cool people has been an incredible opportunity for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's such a cool new aspect of it. And Sheep Fever is a great podcast. It's been around for a couple of years now. And Gray and Keith do a great job on that. And just to add the segment's really, really exciting. And I know they focus a lot on the conservation side of stuff, which they should. That 100%, it's great. But to get this hunting side and the engagement and like you said, Less Than One is absolutely crazy. And I want to talk a bit about that in a second. So, but first of all, are you a Less Than One Club member yourself? I think you are.
I am a Less Than One Club member. Unfortunately, I have not been kicked out yet. I've not had the opportunity to kill a ram. I still hope and pray every year for the Montana draw tags, but have not been lucky enough to draw a tag yet myself.
Yeah, very cool. So, such a cool program. I want to talk about all these programs and talk about on the podcast itself, but let's back it up. And like, I know you're a hardcore hunter, and anyone that follows you has sort of seen your journey, but I don't think you grew up in the West. You grew up out in central U.S., the Midwest a little bit and stuff. So this whole Western hunting stuff is kind of, so I'd like to hear your journey and how you ended up in Bozeman and everything and how that came about.
Yeah, you bet. As you said, I grew up in the Midwest. I'm a Minnesota gal. Grew up hunting and fishing with my parents. My parents were both in the fishing industry. My dad was in the fishing industry for almost 30 years. And that's actually how my parents met. So they just have a really deep love and appreciation for the outdoors. And that was instilled in me in a really young age. I think at age, I was like 9 months on my first duck hunt. My mom has a picture of her holding me in one arm and a shotgun in the other. So it was just kind of a way of life for us growing up. And I would affectionately look back on the times where my dad and I would get to deer hunt in Minnesota, which it's only like a 2 week season. So that was a big deal for me growing up, is getting to spend that time with him out in the woods. And I really fell in love with the West on just a family trip out to South Dakota. And I think, just went out there for fun, just to look at the Badlands and the Black Hills. And I remember, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I just fell in love with that country. I saw mule deer, and I still remember the first time I ever laid eyes on a bighorn sheep. We were driving through Badlands National Park, and we pull over to the side of the road, and there's this herd of sheep just right off the road. And I think it was just ewes and lambs, but it was just like a core memory of mine, is seeing those sheep. And they all had radio collars. I just remember growing up and thinking, wow, like, what are these animals? This is crazy. And it really sparked a love for the West, for me. And after that, I just knew I had to end up out here. So that came to fruition in 2017. I had gone to school in Minnesota for a year and a half, and just decided, you know what, now's my time to go make the move, and explored Wyoming, explored Montana, and convinced my dad to come out to Bozeman with me to look at Montana State University. And we landed at the airport, and we were gathering our bags from the carousel, and I said, I'm moving here. And my dad was like, we haven't even been outside yet, Maddie. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm moving here. So that was in October, and I ended up moving in January and finished up my schooling. I went to school for marketing. I had asked my dad prior to my schooling, like, I want to be in the outdoor industry like you. How do I do it? And he said, I would do marketing. You can do anything with marketing. I said, okay. And I never looked back, and got involved with the Montana State student chapter of Wild Sheep Foundation when I was in college. And after graduation in 2019, I got a call from Gray, and he said, we'd love to interview you. And I said, awesome, I will be there. And sat down in an interview with him, and he's like, well, you already have the job, so this is just a formality. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And so stuck around after graduation, and I've been with WSF for 6 years now, which is pretty crazy, and just loving every minute of it.
Very cool. So what
Yeah.
was it you mentioned? Like you got off the airplane, walked
Yeah.
out to the baggage carousel, and you're like, I'm moving here. What triggered that? Like, what was it?
I think anyone that's been in the Bozeman airport can just kind of get a general feel for the area. It's such a, it leans more rustic and outdoorsy. And I think when you land and you look out and you see the beautiful Bridger Mountains, I think I just was like, this is it. This is my home. This is what I've been dreaming of ever since I came to the West when I was 7, 8 years old. And yeah, it was a pretty incredible feeling just to step off the plane and be like, this is it.
That's cool. So you went to MSU, and was it like a Gray offered you the job before you started the interview? So obviously he knew who you were.
Yeah.
Were you volunteering through MSU at Sheep Show and that sort of stuff? Is that the connection there, Maddie?
Yep. So I came to Sheep Show. My first Sheep Show, I believe, was in 2019, and I was just a student that came as a volunteer and got plugged into the that this industry in that way. And it kind of lit a fire in me of like, this is a really cool organization. I love the work they're doing. I love the events that they're hosting. And so really became interested at that point. And then after Sheep Show, I just, Marcy, who was in my position at the time, I had just said, if you ever need help, let me know. Like, I'd love to volunteer. If that means sending out bulk mailings, if that means folding less than one club t-shirts, like, just call me and I'd love to help. And she did reach out to me a few times, and I would always come in and spend a couple hours in the office and get to know the folks here. And so after graduation, I think I had already met Gray a few times at that point. And so when this job opening came up, I think it was kind of top of mind because I had expressed interest. Like, if there ever are opportunities, like, I want to be in. So yeah.
Very cool. So
Yeah.
there's the the conservation space, and you talked about getting off the airplane. You're like, okay, this is my place. This is where I'm staying.
Yeah.
But and Bozeman's sort of the epicenter. Like, it's no secret that there's big brands there. There's the Sitka and the Schnees and the Stone Glacier, and the list goes on and on and on. Of
Hmm.
just, it's kind of the Silicon Valley for the hunting industry, if you will.
Yeah.
And such a cool spot. Like, and it's crazy. You drive through town and you look at all these brands, and you're like, oh my goodness, like,
Yeah.
super cool. So, um, and there's the outdoor space too. Like, you talk about, you want to be in the outdoor space, and you look at some of these guys like the Ben O'Briens that were like
Mm.
these brand people that would go on these like exotic hunts or do these cool trips, or and you went into marketing. Like, conservation is sort of like a niche space in that outdoor industry.
Very. Yeah.
Um, did you grow up? Did you guys grow up with that connection to the conservation world? Like, obviously you guys were hunters, so as a hunter, naturally you cared, but was there like organizations that you guys were involved with from the conservation space, or something that you kind of looked up to, like thought that was pretty cool, or anything like that in terms of the conservation work that was being done?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, my dad's in the fishing industry and he was involved with a nonprofit geared towards fishing. But I grew up with seeing the impact that those organizations had on Minnesota fisheries, and he's actually still involved with that. And we would also go to, I think a lot of people that or in the outdoor space have been to like a banquet, like just your standard like Ducks Unlimited banquet or Delta Waterfall. And in Minnesota, there was like the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association. And so I got exposed to that at a pretty young age and definitely had a deep appreciation for the conservation aspect as a hunter. And realizing that as hunters, we are some of the people that care the most about these resources and these animals, and how we should be stewards of the land and stewards of these populations of animals. And so it was something that was instilled in me in a really young age. Yeah.
Now, the sheep world, obviously, there's not a ton of sheep run around Minnesota. So obviously you probably weren't as engaged in that. But so you obviously been with the foundation, and like, I know from my conservation work, like, I spent a lot of time in a bloody office, and I've still never handled a live sheep. But I
Yeah,
think you got to do the Nebraska capture, that
I
there was a,
did.
so to talk about, I'd love to hear your perspective, and I'm envious. Like, I'm thinking, man, I just to have that experience and to get your hands on sheep and actually making, like, I know every day we do our part for conservation, right? Like, you as
Mhm.
your membership manager, me and my role, wherever that is, and we're doing our stuff, but you're like you're not out there doing like the stuff that the bios are doing, like the cool, like
Right.
catching sheep and like saving lives.
Yeah.
Talk about what that was like to get your hands on sheep and actually have that experience.
Oh my goodness. It was indescribable. I have put my hands on a lot of animals, but not a lot of live animals. I think every animal that I mostly handle in the field is after successfully harvesting it. So going out there, and so this was in the western Nebraska, a place where you really wouldn't anticipate there'd be populations of sheep. And we went out there the first day, and you have all these stretchers set up, and it's quite an operation. And I remember we're standing there, there's just like this excitement buzzing around everyone. There's volunteers, biologists, veterinarians, I think just some like local landowners as well. And to hear the helicopter come over the bluffs the first time, and to see, I believe there was three sheep hanging down, I was like, my jaw was on the ground. It's something that, as an employee of the Wild Sheep Foundation, that's our bread and butter. Like, that's what we do. But to experience it firsthand was a feeling I can't even describe. Like, to see the work that we put in, and to see the money that our donors and members can direct specifically to these conservation projects, gave me such a deep appreciation for the work that we're doing. And to actually get my hands on, there was several ewes, lambs, we had one ram come through, was, it just I can't even find the words to describe it, honestly. It was such an impactful moment for me and gave me such a fire for the work that we're doing as an organization, and that our industry partners and our chapters and affiliates, like, this is what we do. And it's something, as an employee that sits in the office almost every day, like, it gave me such a different outlook on, okay, I come to work every day and I answer emails and I talk to our members on the phone and I love it, but there's such a deeper meaning behind the work that we're doing. And to see these animals up close was just truly indescribable.
Mm. So what kind of stuff were you, what activity were you doing? There's some great pictures of you handling sheep, but what were you doing with
Yeah.
them? You guys, like, what kind of stuff were you involved in with that?
Yeah, so it was a test, like a trap and test. So what they did was these sheep would fly in on the helicopters. We would pick them up and throw them on a stretcher, and there was several tests that were run. They did blood tests, they did nasal swabs, and they tested. I don't know if they did pregnancy checks or not, but and those tests were handled by the vets that were on site, and the biologists. And it was really crazy to just see the well-oiled machine that these different groups were. So as I think my job was to do tick checks. So I would check behind their ears, like any places that there would typically be ticks. I never found any, so that was a good sign. But I got to also just hold them while they were in the stretchers to make sure that they weren't going to be moving around or accidentally hurting themselves. So they were testing for MOV, and then I'm not sure what the blood tests were for. I'm just like we said, I'm a desk jockey. I get to sit at the desk all day. So, but it was really interesting to see these things that we discuss so often as a staff, and see that in person, these different checks. And then we also did radio collars as well. So each sheep was outfitted with a radio collar if they didn't have one already.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Maddie, talked a little bit about, the on the ground work. Let's talk a little bit about your role as membership manager. So you've been involved now for 6 years and done an amazing job. And I've got the unique privilege of getting to work with you as chair of the membership committee, and we all look to your leadership as membership manager. And you do a phenomenal job. Let's just touch a little bit about like the role of membership and sort of, why it's important to you, and sort of, what our members mean to you as an organization, I guess, with the Wild Sheep Foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great to work with you. I'm so privileged to have that connection with you, Kyle, and Charlie as well. You guys have been an incredible resource for me. And we're a membership-based organization, so our members are everything to us at WSF. It shows just such a strong commitment to this wild sheep resource. And what's really exciting to me is sheep hunting is such a niche thing. Like, a lot of people will never have the privilege of harvesting a sheep in their lifetime. And so to see our members have a passion for this species that a lot of them will never have the privilege of hunting, is super exciting for me. And it's been a privilege to interact with our members, talk with our members, and we affectionately call our membership our WSF family. And it really does feel like a family. Anyone that's had the opportunity to go to Sheep Show, it's like a big family reunion. It's a party. We say, come for the sheep, stay for the party, because it's just the camaraderie is unmatched. And I feel so lucky to be in the position I am and be able to communicate with our members in the way that I do, and celebrate their successes in the field or not successes in the field a lot of times. So yeah, our members are the best, in my eyes, the best in the business.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. Let's talk a little bit about Sheep Week. So there's Sheep Week proper, and then I want to dive right into like the less than one club experience. But Sheep Week is and it's a bit different for you because it's literally by far the busiest time of year, but it's
Very.
also the coolest time of year because you are connecting with all those members. Like everybody's showing up and you're, faces to names and shaking hands with people that you dealt with so many times and just making those connections. That's really our one touch point, really, with our membership, right? But Sheep Week in itself is just like I tell anyone, like if you've never been to Sheep Week, you just have to go and experience it. And just like you walk around and there's people in the outdoor industry like that you hear about or you see or you through socials or through TV shows, and they're all there. Everyone's there. It's so cool.
Yeah.
The one thing, like when I walk into a room with the Wild Sheep family, like I feel like that's just my people. Like I don't even
Mhm.
need to walk in, know anybody, but instantly
Yeah.
there's a connection with people. And it's not even about sheep hunting, or it's just about these people think like me in that room.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's such a special gathering of people. And like you said, like we are just a family, and you can walk in anywhere and just have a common connection with these people, even if it's someone you've never met before. And I have met a lot of incredible people at Sheep Week, people that are lifelong friends of mine, people that now come to hunt with me in Montana, or I will go and see them, or I get texts all the time. Hey, how's your season going? Of people that I've just been connected with that sheep show. So it's a really special group, definitely.
Yeah, very cool. So you talked a little bit about, this problem that we have, and it's a problem we do have, is that there's not enough sheep to go around for the number of sheep hunters. Everyone wants to go sheep hunting, which, is why it's so important that we're putting more sheep on the mountain, looking after them like we do.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about Sheep Week is there is just a plethora of sheep hunting opportunities. Like if you're not like me, maybe you could afford to book a hunt. So I'm not that guy that's going to book a hunt. But if you don't have that luxury, there's just so many opportunities. And I know that you are a big driver in the Life Member Breakfast, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a great opportunity. So if you're a Life Member of the foundation, you show up. How many people do we have in the room? 800 or 900, 1,000? I don't.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah, I would
right?
say 800 or 900. Yeah.
Yeah, so come by, have breakfast, and then you got your
Mm-hmm.
chance to win a Lapamosa sheep hunt. It's just an unbelievable opportunity,
Yeah.
and it's just there. So that's one, and you're paying to get in the room, but it's 1 in 800 odds are pretty darn good, I would say, like compared
Yeah.
to a state lottery or something.
Very
Um,
much.
but then less than one, and like that's the crazy one. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, just maybe talk about the whole thing, like what it is, like because there's people that have never been to the lesson one club and the lesson one
Yeah.
party. Talk about the
Yep.
whole thing, what it means, and then what you can win and how it all works.
You bet. Yeah. So the Lesson One Club, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's open just for those that have never harvested a wild sheep ram before. So all we require on our end is you have to be a WSF member. That can be an annual membership, it can be a life membership, and then you join the Lesson One Club, which is the $35 membership. So that gets you an entry in to win one of three hunts. These are typically Dall sheep hunts. We've done different hunts in the past, but this year will be three Dall sheep hunts. The first one you do not need to be present to win. So if for whatever reason you can't make it to the show, I still encourage you to join. You still have an opportunity to win a sheep hunt. The second and third hunts, you do have to be present for. And this is at our Lesson One beer reception. This is held on the Friday evening of Sheep Show, and it is a can't miss event in my eyes. It's just a big party. Everybody there is. It is. I think the energy in the room is just electric. There are so many people that are just hoping and praying to win their first sheep hunt or have the opportunity to go on their first sheep hunt. And something I think is really cool is a lot of people in that room have already killed sheep, and they're just there to support their family, to support these folks that are going to be winning. And it is just buzzing with excitement. And so we have the opportunity to draw these three sheep hunts. We do three North American hunts for the Lesson One Club, and we also have the Lesson One International Club, in which we draw 3 international sheep or goat hunts. So if you've never harvested an international sheep or goat, you're eligible to join. And we give away these 6 hunts, and it's crazy. I think we've had barrel rolls on the stage. We've had tables flipped over when someone wins. It's quite the party. And I think most people would agree that it's a highlight of the show for sure.
Yeah, it's super cool. And so with the less than one eye, is that first one drawing? You don't need to be there for that one either?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So, and those are $35 to enter, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're a member of the foundation, or if you're not, you can go buy a membership. They're $45, and then you buy one of those two, and you've got your name in for those two draws, which are pretty good odds. Because again,
Yep.
if you've already taken a sheep, you can't even put your name in that.
Exactly.
So the odds are really good. But if you want the really good odds, you triple your odds by being at the show. Then you could win one. You got 1 in 6 chance of winning. And there's quite a few people in that room, but a bunch of those are not eligible because they've already won. And there's like unlimited beer there.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a party, and our favorite thing is if folks aren't in the room for those second and third hunts, we draw their name and we affectionately say, "It sucks to be you," because if you were in the room, you'd be going sheep hunting. But it's really funny. There's like a moment of silence, and then I think the whole crowd's just like, "It sucks to be you." So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention Jamie Arnett's name or anything here, but yeah. Yeah, no, it's such a cool opportunity, and just the vibe in that room, like you said, it's electric. You're giving away 6 hunts, and just everyone's super stoked, and it's packed. Like if you're claustrophobic and don't like people, don't come to that event.
Definitely,
it's so much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. Yeah, it's a pretty neat. That's on Friday afternoon at like 4:00 or something.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So anyone interested, if you're listening to the podcast, you can go to the Wild Sheep Foundation website. If you're not a member, just buy a membership and then buy the less than one and less than one eye. Join those. Unless you've already killed one of those, then you're not eligible. And if we draw your name, you don't get to win.
Exactly.
And yeah, you sign up. It's that easy. It costs you that's $105 to get in for both, and you've got really good chances of winning. You don't even have to go to the show. And if you really want to win, show up at Sheep Week. Easy peasy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Now, do we have any membership? We don't have a membership promo right now. We just wrapped up one last night, right?
We did. Yep. We just wrapped up a Life and Summit Life promo. We've got a antelope hunt coming up in November. So if you're looking to join, upgrade, renew, November will be a great time. Anytime's a great time, but specifically November, we'll have an antelope hunt rolling out.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, awesome. So, so I guess for our listeners, if you haven't been to Sheep Week, come check it out. It's what are the dates this year? January, what are we?
I think it's 22nd through the 24th.
Right. So there's a Wednesday night banquet, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 4 nights of banquets. Friday and Saturday have traditionally sold out. They'll sell out again this year. So make sure you get booked up, and if you can't come, or if it's booked up, at least come for 1 or 2 nights. It's just so much fun to be part of it, and it's just the energy escalates and the tiredness escalates as the week goes on. So
definitely, Sunday morning, I think the Reno airport sees a lot of hungover people. So yeah.
And I think we've done the math on how many sheep hunts we give away at Sheep Week in the past. I don't know. It changes a little bit from year to year, but there's a lot of hunts we give away. Like, have you done the math on this year?
I haven't, but I did actually just talk to a guy this morning on the Lesson One Kicked Out podcast, and he had won a sheep hunt at the show in 2025, and he just harvested his ram, and so that was pretty exciting because I think he won our registration hunt on Friday night at the banquet, and he just killed his ram. So it's the real deal. People are winning hunts. They're killing rams. So best odds. You gotta come to the show.
That's awesome. Just curious, with the Lesson One, we used to give away a bunch of swag and a whole bunch of other stuff. Do we still do giveaways with that as well when you're a Lesson One hunt, or is it just the hunt itself?
Yeah, so if you join and you win the hunt for less than one, there's a great gear package. Big shout out to Sitka Gear, Mystery Ranch, Stone Glacier, Kennetrek, Schnee, Leopold, Montana Knife Company, um, Sam Precision Training at FTW Ranch. There's an incredible gear package. So not only are you going sheep hunting, you're getting outfitted with some of the best brands in the business.
Yeah, so we send them down to FTW. Like
Mm-hmm.
they get a that long, so like a week long course or 4 days of shooting or something, and like that's
Yep.
a $4,500 course right there. Just
Yep.
um, yeah, phenomenal. Such a cool opportunity. So yeah, it's the real deal. I'm
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks. I almost wish I hadn't taken a sheep already.
I'm
uh,
jealous. I'm jealous.
awesome, very cool. Um, let's talk a little bit about your hunting. So you do a ton of hunting out west.
Mhm.
This year, archery antelope. Are you serious? Like solo?
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. This was my first year of doing the archery tag. I've killed quite a few antelope thus far, but always with my rifle and never made the switch over to archery. And this year I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try for archery. And luckily was able to kill my buck pretty early in the season. I think it was like the second weekend only. And yeah, it was just went out solo. I do a lot of solo hunting. I think it's just peaceful out there. I'm a mom of an almost 3-year-old, so getting to sneak out is very few and far between. But when I do, it's kind of my time to just unplug from the world and relax. And luckily, found this buck, and he just had one doe and came in at 30 yards and smoked him. So that was pretty cool. I was stoked, and that's except for when I had to drag him back up like a big hill, and I was like, you know what, this would be really nice if I had another person here. But it was awesome, and so lots of antelope steaks for dinner. I'm actually almost out of steaks already because antelope are just like my favorite big game. But yeah, it was incredible.
So with that, was it spot and stock, or did you have a blind, or like how did you end up getting in on them at 30 yards?
Yeah, this one I just was just hiding. So I had done a lot of spot and stock. I'd blown a couple stocks already, and this time I kind of knew where they were going to be. So just posted up and waited, and he came right in where I thought they were going to come in, and the doe was standing at like 20 yards, and I was just waiting for the buck to come in. And antelope are just notorious for being super hard to pattern. And so he runs out to 60 yards and he runs into 40 yards and he's like kind of just head down feeding and made it happen. I was shaking so bad. I was like, I don't even know if I'm getting a right range, but yeah, absolutely smoked him. So
That's cool. And you've
yeah.
done some archery stuff. Like I think you've taken an elk before with your bow and stuff as well, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm relatively new to archery hunting. I've been a lifelong hunter, but just never really went full into archery until recently, and um, picked up a new bow in like 2021 and really started to get into archery hunting after that. And I killed my archery bull elk last year, and um, just now I've got the archery bug. So I've been out quite a bit this season, as much as I can for elk, and had some relatively close calls, but it's been a warm year, so they've just not been rutting as hard as they have in the past.
Very cool. Um, so you've had lots of success on mule deer, on elk. Is there a particular passion? Do you have a particular species, or are you just obviously you're into spot and stock clearly, but is there anything that stands out for you and is there any bucket list items for you?
Yeah, I love mule deer hunting. Mule deer hunting will forever probably be one of my favorites. I just love that the terrain that they live in. I love that you can find them in the mountains, you can find them in the Badlands, you can find them in the prairie. I specifically love hunting eastern Montana for mule deer. That's just always going to be a favorite of mine. I typically have some family that comes out to hunt with me in the fall, and growing up in Minnesota, deer camp was such a big deal to us. And so now that I live out here, and my parents actually followed me out to Montana as well. So we fondly look at it as our deer camp. So my uncles will come out and we'll meet them in eastern Montana, and my dad and I will meet them, and we just have our week of deer camp, but Western style now. So it's been really fun to get them into Western hunting, and I just have such a fondness for chasing mule deer. They're just such cool animals, and I think the camaraderie with family really makes it for me as well. So that's always my highlight of the fall. Even if I'm not able to successfully punch a tag, it's usually just those memories with my family that are so invaluable to me. As far as looking forward, I think this will come as no surprise to anyone, but sheep are definitely on the bucket list. So I hope to draw a tag in Montana at some point in my life, or be able to save enough to go and shoot like a doll sheep or something. But yeah, that will forever probably be top of my bucket list.
Do you put in for the state stuff, like the draws and stuff like that? You work in the different state draws and stuff, Maddie, or?
Yeah, I do. Just recently have I started putting in for other states. It was not something that was really ever on my radar until I moved out to Montana. And so, yeah, I've put in for a number of different states this year, and I will continue to do so. So hopefully at some point I get some luck on my side and I'm able to draw a tag for one of these Western states.
You can't put in for less than one, can you? Because you do the draw yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I know. I'm always the one up there drawing, so I'd feel really bad if I drew my own name. So I don't put my name in there, but I have a lot of hope for someone that doesn't even have their name in. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Very cool. Um, and so you talked lots about family, and obviously that's clearly really important. And you've got a very young daughter that I
Hmm.
think you probably take out once in a while with you, and which is probably a little challenging given her age. But is
Yeah.
that something you've sort of been instilling in her and sort of having those conversations, or
Yeah.
what does that look like bringing her up?
Yeah, definitely. That was the way I was raised, was just being acclimated to the outdoors at such a young age. And that's something that's a huge passion of mine and something I wanted to instill in my daughter. And so I've brought her out. She's been to deer camp. She has been on I think two antelope hunts. She was with me when I killed one in 2022, 2023, 2023, and then 2024 as well. And I just recently actually brought her on an archery antelope hunt, and we were actually just heading to a friend's house, and there was this piece of public that I had known there was some goats on. So I was like, you know what, we're going to stop and we're going to look. And I glassed this buck up, and he was bedded in like the perfect spot. So I'm like, Chase, we're going to try and get this antelope. So threw her in my backpack, and we took off after it. And I told her that she had to be quiet. So I said, I want you to count every cactus that you see. And that's how I was getting her to like stay quiet. So I just hear her in the backpack, and she's like, 1, 2, 3. And we actually got to 17 yards on this bedded buck. And I was like, Chase, he's right there. And I have my arrow knocked. I'm ready to shoot. Like I ranged the tree he was under. I was like, this is going to happen. This is going to be the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. And she goes, I can't see him. And he heard her, and he just jumped up and runs. And she goes, oh, I see him. And I was like, oh, it's a little late for that. But it was really incredible to have her along with me. And this weekend I actually went elk hunting, and I told her, Mommy's gonna go try and kill an elk. And she said, when I am older, can I shoot an elk? And it just made me so happy that she is expressing interest in the outdoors. And she helped me process my antelope this year, and helped me. She was my grind master. I would put the meat in, and she would push the meat down and grind it for me. So she's been quite the little buddy in my hunting endeavors, which has been really fun.
Very cool. Um, I know you do a lot of fishing and stuff, and you grew up, you obviously tied to that segment of the industry with your
Mhm.
family involved in that, your dad in particular.
Mhm.
Have you had her out much, and does she have an interest in that? And is it does it work well? Like I think you said you use the backpack, but she's getting to be bigger
Yeah.
now too, right? So
She is. Yeah. Yeah. loves to fish. It's been really fun for me. I took her out a couple weekends ago with just my parents and her and I, and she wanted to reel in all the fish. So she reeled in almost every fish. We'd hook them and hand the rod to her, and she would want to hold them, which I was actually really surprised by because I think a lot of kids are kind of spooked by fish. So I got some really cute pictures of her holding some nice browns. And yeah, there's a couple mountain lakes by our house that we'll just go up there for a day, and I'll put her in the backpack or she'll walk alongside me and we'll just go and catch some nice cutthroat out of these mountain lakes. And she always has a blast up there. So it's been really fun for me to see her have this newfound passion for the outdoors, and I'm excited to see where that takes her.
Very cool. Just out of curiosity, how old do you have to be to hunt in Montana? What's the age that it's, do you know
That's a great
offhand?
question. I feel like it's 10, but I don't remember. She's only 2, so I've got some time to
She's
figure
got a
that
little
out.
bit. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
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 I think we're 10 here in BC as well.
Hmm.
In Alberta, I think it was 14. I took my first mule deer when I was 14, but I thought you had to,
Sweet.
yeah, but yeah, that seems old now, but 10
Yeah.
seems like a good age for sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. I can't wait for the day that she has a tag in her pocket.
yeah, awesome. Um, so now you said your family moved out, your mom and dad moved out
Hmm.
west. Is your dad doing a lot of hunting and stuff like that too? And do you guys get out in the field much? I know you talk about the family stuff. Is that in October, November that we need to go chase mule deer? So just a little bit of understanding what you guys do there.
Yeah, yeah, it's been really fun for me. My dad has not really been into Western hunting much previously to moving out here. So to see him find this new excitement for Western hunting has been really cool for me. He actually just killed an antelope 2 weeks ago with his bow, and it was just really fun. He was so excited. So I got the FaceTime call when I got to the office, and he's like, "I have to show you this." And so it's been really cool to see that. He just killed his first bull last year during rifle season, and I don't think he had ever killed a mule deer before. So when we started doing our Eastern Montana deer camps, I think those were his first couple mule deer. So been really fun to see him get passionate about it as a guy that was the one that got me into hunting and got me into fishing in the outdoors, and is a huge reason that I'm in the industry that I am now. It's been fun for me to be able to kind of take the reins as like the quote unquote guide, and see him be successful in the field for these new animals that he hasn't got to hunt before. So yeah, we'll hopefully sneak out and get out archery hunting for elk. And then we've got our November mule deer hunt lined up for the fall.
So that's when the whole family comes out, that sort of thing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Two of my uncles have tags. So they've actually both killed elk in the last 2 years. And I think one of them has an elk tag this year, and they both have mule deer tags. So it's going to be a busy fall. It's going to be a busy fall of trying to get them deer and elk, and my dad. And I've got a couple girlfriends that are coming up to hunt. They've never Western hunted before. So I think seeing those people be successful will be really exciting for me.
Very cool. When you guys
Yeah.
do deer camp like that, do you guys have like do you guys like have wall tents, or you just kind of crash at home and then hunt, go like do your day hunts and then come back at night, or what do you do?
Yeah, we've done the wall tent thing. The first couple of years, that's what we did, and then recently we've just been staying at hotels and coming back at night, which is, I think, getting a warm meal in your body after hiking so much is like it does something to your psyche. It's such a like inspiration to keep going, I guess, knowing that you'll have a hot meal at home waiting for you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Okay, back to the podcast. So there's this new series. It's called The Kicked Out. Is that what it's called?
Hmm.
And it's
Yep.
around talk. So it's about people that have went and got their first sheep and got kicked out of
Hmm.
less than one club. Now, it's
Yep.
not limited exclusively to the draw winners, or is it the draw winners only? Is there, or is it anyone that's got their first sheep?
Yep, anyone that's got their first sheep. So it doesn't matter if you drew the tag, if you booked the hunt through an outfitter, if you won the hunt at sheep show, anyone that's been kicked out is who we're targeting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so people can watch that, listen to that on, they go to Sheep Fever. Is that
Yep.
anywhere, Spotify, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even just our Wild Sheep Foundation website, you can look for them there.
Right on. And then if someone's interested in sharing their story with you, they send you an email, or how do
Yeah,
you connect?
that would be great. A lot of it is just folks are so excited when they kill their first sheep that they reach out to me and they send me pictures and they say, "Hey, we actually just started a podcast. Can I interview you?" And one of my favorite things is a lot of times these are folks that have never been on a podcast before, so they're just really excited to jump on and share their story and talk hunting. So it's been really fun for me so far.
Awesome. And was it Mike Aozzi? Was he your first guest?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. So Mike's our expo manager, and he runs all the booths and everything. If anyone should sign up for Sheep Week as an exhibiter, so it's pretty cool
hmm
to have Mike on and tell his story. Eh?
Yeah, it was really fun to hear it, and it's a story I've heard before, but to hear it in more in depth way was really fun. And obviously, Mike's a great guy and fun to talk to, so we had a great time.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, we sure appreciate it. Anything else we're missing? Anything on the membership side we need to chat on? What are we missing?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think we kind of hit it all. I think I would encourage anyone that has not been to Sheep Show to come to Sheep Show. Um, Support Wild Sheep Foundation, listen to our podcast, show some love to our chapters and affiliates. I think this is such a incredible group of people, and all for the resource, all for the sheep.
That's cool. Are you doing any shows this year? Like, I know you've in the past you've done the Alaska show, but you got a young youngster at home now. So
Yeah.
are you still going to do some traveling? I know you were at Southeast last year, or no, you were at DSC last year, I think it was. So, oh no, you
This
couldn't.
year,
Yeah, did you go to DSC last year? I can't remember.
no, Reb went to DSC for
Yeah,
us.
Rebecca was there. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be at Sheep Show. I'm gonna go to the Alaska chapter banquet. That one's always one of my favorites. Just talked to Marcus with Oregon last night. He said we want you to come back, so I'm going to Oregon again. Um, yeah,
Awesome. Oh, that sounds great. So, well, I'm going to see you in 3 weeks in Bozeman. I think you're going to be at headquarters there when we're down there for a board meeting. So, look forward to catching up with you. We should have done this there, but it's there's never enough time. I think that's what happened. Is 2 years ago I brought my gear down. We are going to do it down there. It's
yeah.
like, no, this is
There's
not
just
time.
no time. Those board meetings last all day, and it's just so fun to see everybody in the same room. It doesn't happen very often. So, yeah, really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Maddie. Thank you for your leadership through the membership for the foundation, for your messaging around hunting and conservation. And I am so absolutely freaking over the moon that you're doing this podcast. Like, I am one of your biggest fans, and for you to be behind the mic is amazing because that's awesome. It's really really going to be great to have that, and I can't wait for more of those. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. It's such an honor to be on here, and I'm just glad we finally made it happen. You've been such a instrumental part of our membership committee, and forever grateful for your leadership on there.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Maddie.
Yep, you bet. Thanks.